Imagine waking up this morning and checking your emails. You see one come in from your CEO instructing you to transfer 75 million euro. You check the email again. In fact, you scrutinize it. The email address is absolutely the right one. The email signature is correct. The logo is right. Even the type of language they use is what you're familiar with. The only trouble is that you are transferring the money to a bank account the attacker controlled, all while posing as a high-level executive. If you don't think this is possible, it happened to Creelan Bank in 2016. This is referred to as a business email compromise or a BEC scam. This morning, I have Simon Clark, founder of FortNet UK Limited, with me to talk through one of the three categories of cybersecurity threat, email spoofing. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Thanks, Elias. How are you?
Fantastic. Good to have you here. Let's kick this off, Simon. How common is this type of cybercrime?
It's very common. 91% of targeted cybercrime is via email. And Hiscox, the insurance company, have reported that 65% of organizations have experienced a cyber threat of their supply chain. So that's what you've just explained, that type of attack. I mean, the NCSC, that's the National Cyber Security Crimes. Oh, crikey, I think I've got that wrong. Anyway, the NCSC if I paraphrase it, if you don't know your supply chain, then you can't put any controls in place to control it. I saw an estimate recently of this type of attack, and they reckon that in 2020 it was costing industry $1.8 billion. And everybody is susceptible to this, but some big names, Facebook and Google, fell for the scam back in 2015, $121 million, where criminals had set up fake credentials for a genuine supplier of both of those organizations and got them to pay them. Toyota in 2019, $27 million fraud. By looking like one of their subsidiaries and expecting Toyota to transfer money, which they did. And Schooler was another one, where an employee received an email, a bit like Creelan Bank, received an email from the CEO, transfer 17 million to pay for an acquisition, and they did it.
So who is legally responsible for these attacks?
Well, that's a good question, because you could argue the people that have clicked on that illegitimate email and fallen for it are liable, but they're very, very convincing because they've actually come from the genuine domain. Or you could argue it's the other company, it's the domain owner's fault because they haven't put sufficient security tools in place to prevent those sorts of emails getting delivered to those recipients. Who knows?
Okay. It is a bit of a gray area, I guess. So is it easy for an attacker to replicate your email server?
Well, unfortunately, yes. I mean, there's a couple of steps. It's easy, very, very easy to just change the display of the sender's name. So that's the first level. But it's actually, with a little bit of technical knowledge, it's very easy to set up an email server using the company organization's domain and then start sending emails that look ostensibly like them. And if you've got their logos and you know the individuals' names, and maybe you've even got the signatures of the CEO and other senior people, then you can write and send exceptionally convincing emails.
Okay, so people can replicate it, they can be sophisticated and getting more and more believable. What option does a company have to counter this?
Well, I think low-cost tools to start with. Train your staff to be a little bit more savvy, to understand what kind of things to look out for in those sorts of emails. The next thing you can do is you can put processes in place which say, well, we're not, as an organization, we won't change bank details without physically speaking to the people who have sent us the request. That doesn't always get you around. I've heard of stories where they've actually faked lawyers and members of staff, and even set up telephone lines for them. But anyway, that's for the bigger bucks. The next step is to start looking at things like tools that will actually do it for you automatically.
So I read in a recent article you put on LinkedIn about something called DMARC, and it's a standard. Now, how does this work, and how does it protect you and your clients?
DMARC is a nice way to address it, because that's a relatively recent standard that was set up back in 2016, I think. What that does is it means that when you receive an email, your email system checks back to DMARC and says, has this come from a bona fide server? Has it come from the actual owners of that domain? And if the answer back is no, it hasn't, the email isn't delivered. And that's a very, very quick, slick and automatic way of preventing your supply chain from getting illegal or forged emails from you.
So is this an expensive option to implement?
Well, there's two ways to implement it. If you've got some techie savvy people in your organization, they might be able to set it up on their existing email gateways. The trouble with doing that is it does need specific expertise. It doesn't manage something like SPF and DKIM, which is another set of standards, which perhaps we'd have to have a longer discussion about another time. And it is prone to errors, and it needs continuous maintenance because IP addresses change and all sorts of things change over time. So, but there are relatively inexpensive tools that you can buy which do it automatically for you. Once it's set up, it's almost a love it and leave it. And the beauty of them as well is it returns wonderful reports to show you how much under attack you are and where those attacks are coming from, so you can see just how much it's protecting you.
Awesome. So how can FortNet UK help?
Well, we offer managed services, so we can do a very cost-effective service that encompasses all of that, puts it behind a monthly subscription, and we manage it for you. That's probably the most straightforward way of doing it. But if you want to contact us, you can go to our website, maybe down here somewhere, www.fortnet.co.uk. Go to our contacts page. You can ring us up, email us, or there is actually a calendar link, so you can even book a slot that's convenient for you if you want, and we'll give you a complimentary discussion about to help you understand this in more detail and see if it's right for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Simon. It's been educational and entertaining talking to you today. If our audience wants to get hold of you, the details, as you mentioned, are on the screen right now. And we look forward to speaking to you on a different topic shortly. Have a great day.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Elias. Cheers.